Good evening and welcome to From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown, and today's guest on this special Super Bowl edition of From the AD's View is Miss Jasmine Pollock.
Hi, Dr. Brown. It's good to be on the show.
Hey, Jazz, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm ready to get into some talk. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl predictions, our Super Bowl predictions, the teams, and some of our teams, the Giants and the Packers, about what we're going to do in the offseason. So I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these topics and more on From the AD's View. Let's get it. Welcome back to the show. Before we get started, as I do every episode, I'd like to give honor to God, who's the head of my life, for without Him, nothing that I do would be possible. And I'm sure that my guest, Miss Jasmine Pollock, feels the same. Welcome back to the show, Jazz.
Yes, it's good to be back, and absolutely, God is first in my life, and He has um, been the anchor that I needed to keep moving forward. And even for you, Dr. Brown, just continuing to grow and continue to keep Him first in every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. And Jazz, the your talk show, First Impression Sports Talk, is hot right
Yes.
now on YouTube. Is hot on different social media platforms. Tell some of the viewers what's transpired for you since graduation till right now.
Absolutely. So for First Impression Sports Talk, what everyone knows, it's a weekly content thing. So I've changed it from just it being a show. Now it's a whole content thing. So some of my co-hosts, Cole and Anthony, they'll send videos in of themselves talking about whatever teams they want to talk about. We post it and we talk about it and give our thoughts, since it's called First Impressions, about some of the hottest topics in sports of that week. And then we also do a show as well. And we're looking to go back to doing a live show and a recorded show. So we're still planning all that stuff. But just recently, I reached over 100 subscribers on my channel, and I'm very thankful for that. I think now it's at 114. I'm really thankful. The last video I did about my Green Bay Packers reached 760 views, and I am so very grateful. That was my biggest YouTube video ever. The comments were, there was like 22 comments, so many people commenting and sharing, and I was really grateful and thankful. So the views are continuing to rise, the connections are starting to continue, and even just having different guests on, having different, being able to hear other people's opinions, like Cole and Anthony, who are my co-hosts, and I'm really thankful for, give their expertise about things is so monumental, and it's needed in the sports climate about getting back to sports and talking specifically about sports.
And backstage in the green room, we were talking about some of the opportunities that you're getting because of your
Yes.
show, right? Can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So if everyone doesn't know, I am a intern, editorial intern with Fox Sports. Um, and I help with the Kelsey Nicole Nelson show, which is called Listen In with KNN, that airs every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. You can check her website as well. She is a Fox Sports Bleacher Report affiliate. She does a lot of different things, far as interviews. She's interviewed a ton of people. She's been around in different spaces of people who I respect and admire, and just learning about her and really growing with her. I'm just very grateful that she's given me the opportunity, another Black woman, the opportunity to get a step closer to my goals, get a step closer to my dreams of wanting to be in the sports media field, and not just be in there, but make things happen and improve it and continue to grow it as a Black woman and a woman in sports.
And you are doing that. You are doing that, Jazz. Almost 2 years ago, when I met you and became a guest on your
Yeah.
show, First Impression Sports Talk. I always said that you are going to be a star. Everybody, not the next Jay Hill, not the next Maria, but the first Jasmine Pollock, right? The
Yes,
Jasmine
absolutely.
Pollock. So you are amazing. You are a great colleague. You've taught me so much. So when they say that old dogs can't learn new tricks, that's not true, because you've been teaching this old dog some great things, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
let's start talking about this celebration in Las Vegas next
Oh
week on the
man.
11th of February, called the Super Bowl,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
And we'll talk about our two teams that are not in it.
Yeah.
Mine, the New York Giants, and
The
and
Green Bay
yours,
Packers.
the Green Bay Packers. But let's talk about the two teams that are in this right now. And let's start with
Absolutely.
the AFC. So we have defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Magic
Mahomes.
Mahomes, right? 14-6 in the regular season, 11-6. Excuse me, 14-6 overall now, but 11-6 in the regular season. Number 3 seed in the AFC. What do they need to do, Jazz? What are they going to need to do to try to get a back
To
to back?
win. Yeah. So this is what's so strange about this whole thing. Everyone, I mean everyone, this was supposed to be an off year for the Chiefs. Like, we all saw the offense is not clicking. There was questions about the receivers dropping passes. They didn't have a number one receiver outside of Travis Kelce. And we all
Right,
know Travis Kelce is a Hall of Famer. He's probably in that
first
conversation
ballot.
of being the greatest tight ends of all time. Him and Mahomes broke Brady and Gronkowski's record.
They
It's
did.
just this year was supposed to be their down year, and look, we're here now. In order for them, this is the thing, and this is what I had to learn, talking to with my dad and stuff like that, because are we seeing the a new New England Patriots in Kansas City? Are we seeing another dynasty arising? And yes, they are definitely a dynasty. And even when they're having a down year where this team and that team is expected to be there, the Chiefs still have the heart of a champion. They still have the experience. They still have that. They're battle tested. So of course, I was rooting for Lamar. I was rooting for the Ravens to break the mold and break that curse that was looming over Lamar's head, and him wanting to, he got his money this year, getting his team to that number one seed, and having the defending champs in your building to do something great, to be able to get to your first Super Bowl, and maybe break that psyche of the Kansas City Chiefs. But we can never deny the heart of a champion. You can never go against a Patrick Mahomes, because there's only two quarterbacks that have beaten him, and that's been Joe Burrow and Tom Brady in the
And Tom
postseason.
Brady. Yep.
And it just says a lot about what Andy Reid is doing and how his game plan is, and what he's, oh, my light went off. But just making sure that we have, 1 second,
That's okay.
my light went off. Anyway, but when we look at this Kansas City Chiefs team, in order for them to win, Mahomes has to do what Mahomes does. I think the emergence of Rice, their other receiver, I think that is going to be huge in this game. And then, of course, Kelce. I mean, Kelce is Kelce. He's going to do what he's going to do. Running Pacheco, definitely, because this 49ers team, you can rush on them. The Packers did it, and the Detroit Lions did it. But it's towards the end of the game that and this is ironically crazy, that I have a little worry about the Chiefs in this game, because in the second half of the Baltimore game, they didn't score any points. They
They did
they did
not.
not score any points at
They
all in the
did
second
not.
half. And when we look at the San Francisco 49ers, which we'll get into in a few minutes, they stormed back by 17 down in the second half. And they've had this postseason for them has been comeback, comeback. They came back on the Packers. They came back on the Detroit Lions. So for the Chiefs, it's like a tale of two halves for both teams, because at the same time, the 49ers can't start off slow, but then again, the Chiefs have to finish the game. So when we look at that, I think this game is going to determine which defense can stand up, which defense can force the other quarterback to make certain things, because I think both quarterbacks are very lethal at what they do. If you give them protection, you give them time in that pocket, they're going to do damage, because they have a lot of weapons. But I do think the 49ers have a lot more weapons right now than the Chiefs do on at different facets of the levels of the positions. But for
Mhm.
the Chiefs, you got to go out there. You got to be who you're going to be. You have to be the Chiefs. You have to be, Mahomes has to be at his best. He has to do what he has to do. But I just know this 49ers team, there's something different about them this year. And I think Kyle Shanahan, he's still waiting to win that Super Bowl, try to follow in dad's footsteps and everything like that. But me personally, this Super Bowl is not what I wanted. I didn't want this Super
No,
Bowl.
me neither.
But if I had to choose, I would. I'm going, and I don't like the 49ers, but I would not mind seeing Brock Purdy, and we'll get into him on why I say that. We'll get into it later, of him winning this Super Bowl, and we'll talk about that why. But I would want to see Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan win that Super Bowl because it's been a long time coming for Kyle Shanahan, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that this year might be the year for them.
So let me give you a little bit of some stats that I looked up. Kelsey, 984 yards, receiving yards this year, 12 touchdowns. So did not get
Yeah,
to 1,000, right?
yeah,
Um, in his last 12 games, he's had at least 70 yards receiving in his last 12 games,
yep.
right? The offense has scored in the playoffs 26, 27, and 17 points, right? So a total of about 70.
70.
So
Yeah.
just a little over 20 points per game. Jazz, will 20 points win the Super Bowl?
No, not against the 49ers. When I look at the 49ers scored 20. They scored 27 points on us, right? Um, then you go in the Lions game with a very hyped and a very, ambitious and resilient Lions team. You put up 30. When we look at this 49ers team, they can definitely score 30, 40 points for sure. They've done that. They did that consistently, even though they had a 3-game slump, but they've done that consistently in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the Chiefs, of course, it's the heart of a champion, but a lot of these guys, too, on the 49ers side have been here, except outside of Brock Purdy. And I think for Brock Purdy, I think this game is going to be very comfortable for him. I look at this. I cannot. I think this is the best Chiefs defense that Mahomes has had out of his tenure
Mm-hmm.
with the Chiefs. But I can't forget what Josh Allen did to them. And I think Brock Purdy right now is better than Josh Allen. And Brock Purdy has a lot more than what Josh Allen did when they played in the divisional round. And Josh Allen put up a lot of yards on them, even though they didn't win the game and still didn't matter. But he still put up a lot of yards. When I look at, and I think Chiefs fans and people in the media, they can't overlook they can't overlook this Ravens game. If Lamar could have easily had over 100 yards rushing in that game, easily. You saw, and I
If
think,
he had a over 100, they'd have won.
yeah, they would have
He
won.
was he tried this he tried to he wanted to this narrative about him being a running
Running
quarterback, right?
quarterback. Yep.
He's trying to dispel that narrative of being a running quarterback. He's doing a great job of being in the pocket, but that's a one and done game, Jazz. You
Yeah.
know, you do 3-step, 5-step, 7-step drop, and you go one progression, second progression, it's time for you to get out and go,
Yeah.
right? Because
And
you're at home, you're in Baltimore,
yeah.
and so that narrative that he's trying to dispel, I get it, but it's win or go home.
Yeah. Not in the playoffs. I mean, what got you there was phenomenal. You improved in
Absolutely.
your passing game. Absolutely. I think he deserves the MVP this year, 100%. But in that game, in that magnitude, in your building against a Patrick Mahomes, who right now is the cream of the crop of the young quarterbacks right now, who is chasing that ghost in Tom Brady, chasing 12. What did people rave about not Mahomes, Lamar about? His running ability, him able to scramble
Exactly.
and get out of the pocket. That's what you had to do in that game. Lamar didn't have to pass for 300 yards, 200 yards. You didn't have to do that in that game. It wasn't that type of game.
No.
It
No.
wasn't that type of game because your defense held them. They held
They
them
did.
scoreless. So the
They did.
defense, the Ravens defense did what needed to be done to keep you in the game. And
He did
for
though. He needed over 100 to win that game rushing.
yeah, just like if he just got 100 yards passing, and then I think he could have had a 200-yard rushing day. I really do. I genuinely do. If Josh Allen ran over the same defense. This is what I don't understand. If you this is all about studying film. If you saw the game, if you're the Ravens and you're watching that divisional round between the Chiefs and the Bills, Josh
Mm-hmm.
Allen rushed all over the Bills, and you're telling me he's a better runner than Lamar?
No,
No, not at
not at
all.
all. Not at all.
If Lamar said, you know what, I can do that. They were expecting Chris Jones even before the game. We're gonna make Lamar a pocket passer. They're
Right.
already saying, "Oh, we're not gonna respect anything." Run. That is what people. That's what you put fear. That's how you put fear in people. Is your running ability. And I feel like they missed the mark a lot in that game. Now, if you make a couple extra passes while you're doing that, okay, that sets you up for certain things. And I'm not putting it all on Lamar because I think Zay
No.
Flowers. I think he cost them that series when they could have easily scored. That changed the whole dynamic of the game. And then he had the taunting penalty and different things like that. But the Ravens had it in their hands. That it was the game was in your hands. Your
And let me
defense held the Chiefs scoreless. Now,
and
for
they
the
didn't
49ers,
have they didn't have their linebacker who usually the Chiefs didn't have their linebacker who usually is the individual that shadows running
yes,
quarterbacks.
exactly,
Last name
exactly.
Gay didn't have that. But Jazz, before we go to break, I'm gonna give you a stat and then I'm gonna let you give me the answer
Hmm.
later on. Okay, so I have two stats here. I have a stat that is 4,280 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, and 113 passer rating. And then I have another stat 4,183 passing yards, 27 touchdowns,
Hmm.
and a passer rating of 92.6 for the quarterbacks that are going to be in the Super Bowl. But don't give me your answer right now. We're going to go to a really quick break and then we're going to come back. You are watching From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown, with Jasmine Pollock of First Impression Sports Talk. We'll be right back after this break.
Renting is everything. It's style at your doorstep, off the runway, and into your closet. It's every trend you've been dying to try, and every designer you've yet to discover. It's wearing it your way every time, and making it count everywhere you go. It's never worrying about what to wear, because something new is always coming your way. That's why renting is everything. New styles, top designers, all for a flat monthly fee. Start your subscription at renttherunway.com.
Slow roasted over hickory fire and pulled by hand. This is the way pit pork has always been done. Pulled pork lovers, rejoice. The smoky old days are back at the Smoke Shack. From the creative team that brought you the Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What would we do without it?
Welcome back. You're watching From the 80s View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. And before we bring back our guest, I want to talk to you a little bit about my book, How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo in NCAA institutions, a narrative inquiry. The book has been well received. Thank you for all of those that have bought my book, and thank you for all the kind words about the context of the book. It was put together as my dissertation for my doctoral degree, but I went a step further and wanted to put it out there for everybody to read, so that there could be an understanding of what um, African American men, or men of color, um, how they achieve and ascend in the leadership roles in Power Five institutions when it comes to athletic administration. And what we found um, in the research was that there were a couple different things: benefits of a role model, having a role model, someone who can help you navigate through certain things, the expectations of the role model, and there are expectations that role models have because they are putting their time and effort into you as a young professional. And then, those perceived barriers, those racial barriers, perceived or real, and how you can navigate those. So if you'd like to purchase my book, you can get it on Amazon.com. And again, it is How Black Men Overcome Racial Barriers and the Status Quo in NCAA Institutions. Please check it out. If you'd like to learn more about past episodes of From the 80s View, go to my website, cedricmbrown.org. If you'd like to learn more about professional services that I provide, guest speaking, I do that as well. Go to cedricmbrown.org. And if you'd like to be a guest on my show, or my guest show, Jasmine Pollock, as we bring her back on, you can go to email me at cedricmbrown.org. Go to my website and you can email me there. But let's bring back Miss Jasmine Pollock to the show. Jazz, we've been talking about the things that I've been doing on my show, right?
Yes.
And we've talked about some of the things that you've done on your show. But can you tell some of the viewers, if they'd like to get in contact with you, Jasmine, how they can do that? How
Yeah,
they
sure.
can get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you would like to subscribe to First Impression Sports Talk and get a catch up, you can definitely go to my YouTube. You can see it at the bottom there. It's just First Impression Sports Talk. You can also check me out on Instagram at first_impressions jazz. I'm pretty frequent on there and very active on there. Twitter, at Jazzy Esque. You can tweet me, you can DM me or anything like that. And then I have a new email for my platform, which is First Impressions Sports Talk at gmail.com. So you can contact me there as well. And just to look forward to, I have a lot of big things coming this year as well. We're planning on doing a live draft show, and I'm not going to give all the details, but it's going to be a draft show that no one is expecting us to do. So I'm really excited about that. And Dr. Brown, I hope you're involved with that because we're going to be talking. I want
Oh
everyone to wear
yeah.
their jerseys,
I
everyone
won't I
to
won't
be in
miss
their
that one. I
attire.
was I was on last year's. I'm not gonna miss that. You know that. I'm gonna be right there. But
Absolutely. And
Jazz, your first impressions comes on at what time during the week?
so usually we do a recorded show on Wednesday and it will drop Thursday.
Okay.
We try to do that, but we're gonna revamp certain things up. I'm thinking about doing a live show Monday mornings and then doing a recorded show for Thursday. So look for that for sure.
All right. And From the 80s View is on Sundays at 6:40 Central, 7:40 Eastern. And my YouTube channel is Dr. Cedric M. Brown. You can find me on YouTube, Dr. Cedric M. Brown. But Jazz, so let's get into the second team, the NFC champions. And
Yep.
before we went on break, I gave you some stats, and I'll give them to you again. So 4,183 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, passer rating of 92.6, or 4,280 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 113. Who do you think has each one of those stats?
So the last one you just said, I believe, is Brock Purdy. and the first one has to be Mahomes.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner,
Yeah,
winner, chicken dinner. So
I
now,
think Brock
Jazz,
Purdy had a better statistical year than Mahomes this year.
how many people would have guessed Brock Purdy on
Not a lot.
because he's still right. They're still calling him Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Relevant.
And only because he's Mr. Irrelevant, only because he was the last person in the draft 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
He is not Mr. Irrelevant. They need to
Not
take the
no
I and the R off of that for he's Mr. Relevant
relevant.
right now, because you look at it with the offense, 4,577 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, only 12 interceptions. And, he didn't play, certain games and things like that. There's other quarterbacks. But to have almost 4,300 passing yards and the second year that this young man has been in the NFC Championship and now he's in the Super Bowl, right? And
Yes.
you did talk about Lamar as being the MVP, but should Brock Purdy be in the MVP conversation?
Absolutely. I think he should be because he did have a great season. I'm not gonna they got the number one seed for a reason. They were the best team in the NFC for the most part for the whole year. I know they
Mm-hmm.
had like a 3 game stretch where they lost, and I know they started with, when Joe Burrow came to San Francisco and did a number on them, but they bounced back the way they did. They ended up winning the rest of their games towards the end of the season and they got that number one seed and won the division. And even though I do think Lamar will win it, it's just, I think he will win it, based off of what happened because we can't forget that game when Baltimore did go to San Francisco and beat them. And then,
Put that
Lamar
put
and them
that
took
whooping
off
on him.
after that.
Right,
But
right.
Brock Purdy's still standing. Mahomes is still standing. But what I want to say for Brock Purdy, being the last pick of the draft a couple years ago, no one expected. And for the 49ers, this has been a moment they've been waiting for. They've been going through quarterbacks left and right, had Colin Kaepernick, and then you go to Jimmy Garoppolo. Just so much was going on, and Jimmy Garoppolo,
Alex.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith. We look at so the last time they were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago in Miami, and I was at that game. They had Jimmy G, and the fans are waiting. Okay, is Jimmy G going to help them turn that corner? Obviously, he didn't. Injury prone, a lot of things, so they let him go. Then they draft Trey Lance, and Trey Lance was the guy, but he ends up being injured. Now they traded him to Dallas. Then here comes Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, last pick of the draft. And for the fans, people are like, "What's this? I mean, what's going on? What are we expecting from this?" First year, this kid comes out, balls. I mean, I have to give it. He balled out the first year he came in, and you get your team to the NFC Championship game to play the Philadelphia Eagles last season. You
Gets
get
hurt.
injured. Now, people say, if Brock Purdy would have played, they would in the Super Bowl. That could be very much so true. But now we got a full year to see him. This was the knock, right?
Healthy.
Oh, we need a full year to see Brock Purdy. We need a full year, He came in, no one's expecting. All right, it's a full year. He's in the Super Bowl. So
Healthy.
what is the conversation now? And he stayed healthy. They
Right.
have a healthy team now.
Right.
So what is going to be the conversation now? Let's say he does win the Super Bowl. What will be the conversation? Because for one, I do think he's hated very much so. And I think he is down. I hear Cam Newton's, his certain remarks about him being a game manager. He's the 10th best player on his team. But the thing is, if he wins the Super Bowl, there's going to be a lot of things to talk about because he did something even a lot of people didn't do. And even when we talk about Mahomes, it's like the numbers he has statistically, this second season, and he wins in his second year, there's going to be a lot of things going to be talked about. And Brock Purdy should be in the conversation if he does win the Super Bowl.
And he'll have one more Super Bowl win than Cam Newton.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So Cam, sit on down,
Right.
calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know you're trying to do it for the gram and I know you're trying to do it
Yeah.
for likes and all those types of things, but calm down a little bit. No, Brock Purdy has done what many didn't believe that he would do, but there's another quarterback that is a first ballot Hall of Famer that I believe was taken in the 5th round
Mm-hmm.
of the draft, a number 12 that came out of Michigan
Yes,
that
exactly.
that came in and sat down, and he's the winningest quarterback in the game right now, right? And
Mr.
when
Tom Brady.
you look at Tom Brady's pre-draft pictures, right? And you look at Tom Brady right now, he was a little chubby,
Yeah.
out of shape, saying bird chest, should have went to
Right.
Walmart and got him a chest, on sale. But look at who Tom Brady is now. Now, I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is going to
Yeah.
be a Tom Brady, right? I'm saying that the expectation or lack thereof that they had of Tom Brady when he came out of Michigan to the Patriots
Mm-hmm.
and Brock Purdy now coming out and coming to the San Francisco 49ers, that young man needs to get all of the accolades that he deserves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
So
to piggyback
go
off
ahead.
of that, Dr. Brown, too. So I see, sports media, and this is why I cannot wait to get in there because I think we need this. I see a lot of goalposts moving. So I hear a lot of people say, like, oh, Brock Purdy is only great because
The
Kyle Shanahan,
system.
the players.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, isn't that what football is about? I mean, if we want to say, would Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes without Andy Reid? No, I don't think so.
Not at
I
all.
think I think he's still. We saw certain things, but you have that coach that can. Okay, we're gonna make you the best. You're good, but we're gonna make you the best. So that whole argument of saying, "Oh, if Brock Purdy wins, it's not because of solely him." No, it is because of solely him, and we're not gonna do that because we don't do that with every quarterback. You're not gonna say that to Tom. You're not gonna say that to Mahomes. You're not gonna say that to a lot of people, and I think that's what young quarterbacks need today is that coach that sticks with them in their young career. We look at what the Chargers did getting Jim Harbaugh for Justin Herbert. That's going to change
Absolutely.
life for him,
It is.
completely change life.
It is.
And I think every young quarterback that comes in this game, because it's not easy, that comes in this game should have that coach with him throughout the duration of his early career so that they can have success and that we can see. And when we look at the Texans, CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryan,
D'Amico
they
Ryan.
have to keep that together. That has to stay together for like
Right.
5, 7, 10 years. That has to stay
Right.
together. Just the success they had this first season. And for Brock Purdy, you have Kyle Shanahan. That's what he has to stay there. And if he wins, I expect an extension. I expect a huge contract.
Pay him.
100%.
Pay that man his money because I think
Yes,
he's
absolutely.
he's under he's under $1 million
Yes.
still right now, right? I think
Yeah.
850 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Jazz, as we close the show, okay, we got to do these predictions. You're watching
Oh
from
yeah.
the 80s view. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown, on this special edition of our Super Bowl prediction show, and I have my co-host of this show, Miss Jasmine Pollock of First Impression Sports Talk. Jasmine, I need him. I need to, and we didn't get to talk about the Giants. We didn't get to talk about the Packers. We'll bring them back on another show, and we'll
Absolutely.
talk about them. But Jazz, who do you have? Well, tell me, give me a score, and give me the team.
All right. Okay. So my head, you don't want to bet against Mahomes, obviously, but there's something missing with the Chiefs. There's just something does not feel right about the Chiefs. Still, even though they won and everything, I'm gonna go with the 49ers. It's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be a phenomenal game. I just think the 49ers I think with Kyle Shanahan, this is a rematch game for them because they lost the first time when Mahomes won his first Super Bowl. So they want to have their get back. So I expect them to be at their best, and they have a better quarterback now in Brock Purdy. And I think in this go around, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuels, and then the addition of Christian McCaffrey, Fred Warner, Greenlaw, those guys, they're going to remember what happened a couple years ago in Miami.
Right.
They're going to get their get back on the Chiefs, and I have the 49ers winning by 3.
By 3. You want to give the score? Or you just want to say by 3?
I'll give the score. I'm not giving the score. I'll just say by 3.
Okay, so they for you you gamblers out there, it is a -2. So If they win by 3, that means you get your money.
Yes.
I am going to go the opposite because
Oh,
my younger brother Mike Dean will never let me live this down and will never come back on my show again if I did it. I'm going to say that the Kansas City Chiefs win this in a tight one, and they win this game 31-28.
ooh,
Last team has the ball. It's going to be a tie ball game in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes is going to take the Chiefs
magic.
down the field. He's going to take the team down the field, and they're going to kick the winning field goal with 4 seconds left on the clock.
Oh
31
goodness.
28.
Okay.
We got it. We got it. We got it. Jazzy, thank you so much for spending a little time with us this evening and giving us your expertise and dropping some nuggets for us. I really do
Absolutely.
appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on and talk sports. I'm always on for talking sports and everything like that.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank Jasmine Pollock for being on our show. Please watch her show, First Impression Sports Talk. You can catch her on her YouTube channel. You can also catch her on LinkedIn on her page there. And as I close the show, as I do all the time, I want to just kind of take the time to make sure that everybody understands that if you treat people well, you have good intention towards people, that good things happen for you. This is Black
Absolutely.
History Month. There's so many things that we have going on right now. We have an African American quarterback in the Super Bowl for for many times. We have young people that are doing such major things. We have Jasmine Pollock, who is a woman of color that is breaking into the sports talk and sports radio and television and things like that. So be kind to people, give
Hmm.
people the benefit of the doubt, and we'll all be better for it. Again, I
Absolutely.
am your host, Dr. Cedric Brown, with Miss Jasmine Pollock. Thank you. Good night, and God bless.